Evening, man cave time again, but this one's another different one. This one's with my e-bike, as you can see. Now I put one or two feelers out, and the response I got was, yes, go for it, I'll watch it. Well, I hope those that said they're going to watch it do watch it, because it wasn't that desperate. But just down below me, in the valley below, there's the line of an old narrow gauge railway, the Manifold Valley. It was the line of the Leek Manifold Light Railway, which ran from 1904 to 1934. Just a short period, really, but it's a beautiful little line. I've only seen photographs, obviously, but it was a beautiful little line. And I've said on the video, if that little preserved steam train ran today along through the valley that I'm going to show you, you can only guess as how popular it'd be. Well, yes, it's like I say, it's the first one I've done on this on my e-bike to try and keep myself fit. It's just an 8-mile run down through the valley, down from Human to Waterhouses at the opposite end. I've included as much history as I possibly can, and one or two very, very basic photographs. I can't find anything that I could upload online, to be honest. I'm not very good at that sort of thing anyway, but I've taken photographs, if you know what I mean, so to give you some idea of what the situation was. Anyway, that's it. Have a look at it, see what you think. And if you do enjoy it, give us a thumbs up. And if you don't enjoy it, let me know. So I know I'm not going to waste my time on future ones. But yeah, it was a nice little exercise. So, see what you think. Cheers. Well, we're here at what was the terminus station, the Human terminus station on the Manifold Valley line, the Leek Manifold Light Railway, and the station building is intact and it's put to good use now. The engine shed, which is in front of us now, this has been modified, reskinned if you like, and it has some very nice tea rooms now. You can see what's been preserved. You can see the sleepers for the old line that was taken up in 1934, and another line of them over there. I'm fairly sure they are, as long as I've lived up here, and that's since 1980, 81, these sleepers have been in the ground. So yeah, so yes, this is Human Station for all passengers travelling to Sheen and Hartington. So I get on the bike. Incidentally, this is the beast, the mount for this trip. It's a bit of a different one. It's a Trek e-bike. Do you know, I don't know the model of it even. I've not had it long, but it's a pleasure to ride. Some people call it cheating, using an e-bike. I call it a way of being able to do the distance that I wouldn't be able to do otherwise. So let's go have a look down the track. So yes, the railway was put in 1904. I've never seen it actually written as such, but just a short way down the track here is on the left hand side is Ecton Hill, which was very, very rich in copper. And the mining, well, there's been copper mining in Ecton Hill since Roman times, in actual fact, but by the late 1800s it was getting to be uneconomical to pump out the water because the copper was way below water table, about 600 feet below water table, so it was taking some doing to pump the water out to keep the mines dry, so that the miners could, the old man, as they call them, could still operate. There were various different wayside halts and little stations down here. The line itself was 2'6" gauge between the lines, between the rails, and there were 2 locos that operated, pannier tank locos. Both of them were named. One was J.B. Earl, who was the resident engineer, and who gave his name to the limestone quarry at the far end at Waterhouses, well, Calden Low. Earl Cement it became known as, but J.B. Earl was the engineer, the resident engineer in the area, and E.R. Calthrop was the other loco, and he was the actual line engineer during the building of the railway. Identical locos, built by Kitson in Leeds. And I've got 1 or 2 images that I'm hoping I'll be able to put in here and there in relevant places. It's called the Manifold Valley. Manifold Valley line, or the Leek Manifold line, because of the river that runs through this valley. This is the river Manifold on the right here. There are 2 quite spectacular in places rivers in this neck of the woods. This is the Manifold, and the other one a few miles to our left is the Duff. Now the Duff forms the county boundary between Staffordshire and Derbyshire, so the Manifold itself is wholly in Staffordshire moorlands. That's where we are now. You can see the road on the left. This was always a public road through the valley, over on the left there. And what we're on at the minute was the trackbed for the Manifold Railway, the Leek Manifold Light Railway. That's Dale Lane that leads back up to my village at Worslow. And in front of us is the hill I was talking about, that's full of copper. It's been said that the line was originally planned as a mineral line, because even though mining had ceased by the time the line was opened, it was hoped that this was the Ecton station just here on the left, the site of the Ecton station. It was hoped that the railway line might just rejuvenate any plans to mine copper, but it didn't work. And there's also a little quarry across there, but it didn't come to anything. But what there was over on the left there was a creamery, quite a sizable creamery, making cheese, dairy products, and the line was used as well as passengers, the line was used to transport the products from the creamery back down to the opposite end of the line, where we're aiming for in actual fact, to waterhouses, because at waterhouses the line butted up against the 2'6" narrow gauge line, butted up against the standard gauge railway, and goods are transferred straight from the narrow gauge railway to the standard gauge. And to make things easier, they built some transporter wagons. And what these wagons were, I'll try and explain it as clear as I can. These were narrow gauge flatbed wagons with effectively a set of standard gauge rails mounted on them, so that the standard gauge goods cars or goods trucks could be rolled off the siding at waterhouses onto the transporter car, and then the train, the wee narrow gauge steam engine, would transport the standard gauge rolling stock along the narrow gauge line. I hope that makes sense. But that's what happened. I will endeavour to find as many images of the operation as I possibly can and include them in the video. Now across here was Acton Lee Wayside Halt, which was just across here at the mouth of Swainsley Tunnel. Now things changed for us a little bit here, because although the tunnel was the railway tunnel, it is now been adopted as a public road. So we're now, for a short distance at least, we're as you can see from the car coming the other way, nicely illuminated. Didn't used to be. Took your life in your hands coming through here on foot. But you can see the little hollows for people to stand in and get out of the way. Hiya. So yes, just for a short distance we share the track bed with motor vehicles. There is still public road. I mean, it's strange really that this has been adopted as a public road, because the public road is still over the way. It's just that it's a gated road and people don't like to use it because it means getting out and shutting the gates, opening and shutting the gates. Now we're coming to the site of another station, the next station on the line, and this was a popular stopping off point for the passengers, because this is, on the left of us, is Wetton Mill. Very, very popular tea rooms, always has been. You see through the trees, it's Wetton Mill. We've just passed the site of the station. It's a great place to visit, is Wetton Mill, over there. Then we start to get into the the sort of more immediate limestone scenery. I climbed all over these in the past when I was rock climbing back in 70s, 80s, 90s. The public road is over on the right of us now. It is a bit strange. I mean, since this has been adopted as a public road, the actual road itself hardly ever gets used, and it's a lovely road. I always use it on a motorbike on my Himalayan, and this is where the motor traffic leaves us. It was only a fairly short distance. This is Redhurst Crossing, and there was a wayside halt here as well, for the people of Wetton. Up to the left of us, the road up to the left of us goes up to the village of Wetton, and this was effectively their access to the railway to take a trip into Leek. And you can see now the river is bone dry. See the river bed below us. That's because during the summer, when it hasn't rained so much, the river follows its underground route through the limestone. You tend to find this with limestone rivers. The water erodes the limestone away, and it creates its own. The river creates its own route, subterranean, until the rains start again. And the subterranean route floods. This is a lovely crag up on the right, Darfur Crag. Ossium's Crag, that is. Ossium's Crag, sorry. Lovely climb on there. Thank you. Cheers. And then just along here we've got the showpiece of the manifold, I suppose you could call it, really. Up there is Thor's Cave. It's what's known as a solution pocket. It's not a true cave as such. It doesn't go back very far at all. It was it would have been, back in the day, geologically, would have been full of boulder clay and all that sort of stuff, and it's all washed out with erosion. I have nightmares with this sometimes. People sat right up on the very top. There's no fencing around it or anything. I've never known anybody fall off the top, to be honest, but yeah, spectacular. Back in a minute. Right, back on the road, well, on the track again, shall we say. So that was Thor's Cave. Spectacular bit of limestone scenery. And there was a wayside halt at Thor's Cave, so that tourists and walkers could get off and take the footpath up to Thor's Cave itself. I don't think I mentioned at the start that although the railway was opened, started to operate in 1904, it only lasted as long as 1934. It was making a loss basically, and the line was closed 1930 I think, but reopened in 1932 purely for passenger travel, but no, it wasn't worth it, so it closed down altogether and ceased to operate in 1934. The chances are it would have been taken up, the line would have been taken up for the war efforts in 1939 anyway, but no, it ceased in 1934, so it just lasted 30 years. But as I've often said to different people, if that narrow gauge steam line operated today through this valley, you can only imagine how popular it would be. The two locos were painted in Crimson Lake LMS colours, or North Staffordshire Railway colours more to the point, and the coaches were Primrose Yellow. Each coach had a name, and I just can't remember the names, to be honest. But it's a very pretty railway, very pretty train travelling through a very pretty area. JBL was broken up, scrapped more or less as soon as the line was ceased, whereas EO Calthrop, the loco EO Calthrop, was utilised in taking up the rails before being scrapped. And having been a railway modeller, one of my dreams when I was modelling railways was to build a replica of a section of the Manifold Valley line, because you could actually buy kits to build. Me again, sorry. Cheers, thank you. Yes, I'd love to have built that, but pipe dreams and all that never came to fruition. This is the site of the next station. This was Weeks Bridge station. This is the bridge that crosses the river between Grindon on our right and Wetton up to our left. Serve the two villages. Hi. Now just see there was a wayside halt with refreshments. This was called Beeston Tor Halt, and Beeston Tor is another impressive bit of limestone over there to the left through the trees. About 240 feet high. It's Beeston Tor. Very, very good climbing crag. So that's Beeston Tor over there, with the ivy gash in the centre. I spent many a happy hour here at Beeston Tor climbing. And many an unhappy hour at Beeston Tor, dealing with climbing accidents. It goes with the territory, unfortunately. I have to say, this e-bike does make this job a lot easier. This is one that it does have just gives me the assistance through the pedal crank. It doesn't have a motor that I can use to replace my legs, shall we say. Some do. Some have a throttle lever, some have a twist grip throttle, and you can just sit back and let the motor do the work, but no. That is cheating in my opinion, but there you go. Now in actual fact, it's still the Manifold Valley track, but the river we're following now is, it's a tributary, I suppose, to the Manifold. This is the River Hamps. We left the Manifold behind at Beeston Tor, just back there. And this was the site of the last station before the end of the line at Waterhouses. This was Lee's station, just hereabouts. Mainly constructed pick-up produce from Lee House Farm up on the left there, which is a property of a couple of friends of mine actually, and it looks as if that tea room they used to run has gone the way of many businesses following COVID. So yes, that was Lee House Farm at the Lee station. Now we can get vehicles coming up and down this stretch because they do have vehicular access to Lee House Farm for anybody that's legitimately visiting the place. Now this is Brown End Farm on the right here. It's a cycle hire centre these days, which signifies almost the end of the trail. Now the other terminus station at this end is Waterhouses, and the track itself has gone effectively, so we have to take a little detour along the footpath to find our way into the station. And we're rejoining the line of the railway here for the little run into Waterhouses station. So as with Hume End, the station building itself has been preserved, and this was where the standard gauge line came to a terminus here and butted up against the narrow gauge line so that the standard gauge trucks, rolling stock, could be transferred onto the transporter cars or the transporter trucks to take them up the valley. So that's it. So yes, that's it. About 8 miles from Hume End to Waterhouses. And a really pleasant ride it is too. With that, I'll switch off for now. Well, that wasn't quite it, obviously, because let's face it, any ride across to this direction wouldn't be complete without a visit to the famous Yew Tree Inn. And a visit to my friend Dan. And there we are. Now that really is it. Thanks for watching, thanks for having the patience to sit through this. First one using the e-bike, but I hope it's gone down okay. Thanks for watching anyway. You know what to do. Thumbs up, subscribe, etc, etc. Cheers.